News!
You're too slow.
Welcome to What We Into. I'm your host, Lawrence Dial, here with my co-host.
I'm your boy, Rob Comer Robinson, as always. So, what's good, my dude? This is, what we got, week 53.
53, baby.
I know.
You're still in Sacramento.
I'm still in Sacktown.
How's it treating you?
You know what? Honestly, it's been interesting because remember last week I was sick, right?
Yeah.
For the recording, and I'm not gonna say that. Basically, everybody in my cast has some version of what I had. Now, I'm not saying I gave it to those motherfuckers. Because I wasn't out there hugging up on nobody. I wasn't like openly coughing into the back of nobody's mouth. So I'm not gonna say that I gave it to them. But it's just strange that I showed up and then everybody fucking around and got sick.
That is an interesting coincidence.
It's a coincidence. Sir. I think it is 100% an interesting coincidence because like I said, I wasn't out there rubbing up on these people.
Watson.
But because of that, I've had like so many days off from rehearsal.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but the down to that is that I don't know anybody in Sacramento, and I'm not the sort of like go out and explore a new area by himself type motherfucker.
Aww.
Dude, I'm a black man in America in Trumpistan. I ain't doing none of that.
Come on, it's Sacramento.
I don't give a fuck, bro. It could be Queens. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck. I am not going to no place. I'm not going around exploring some place I don't know without a guide. I
called you last night and you were nesting.
Yeah, I'm posted up. Is my modus operandi?
Oh, posted up, right? Yeah,
I'm trying to nesting. What am I, an 80-year-old spinster?
Like a little dog, like trampling down the grass, so you can like move it around in circles.
Fucking
got your
crazy.
PlayStation, your TV set up.
Actually, I do. Both of those things are true. I have my PlayStation and my TV set up. It's pretty amazing.
And you sent me the picture from the Dwayne Weed, all the goodies that you bought.
Right. Dude, all of that for under $100? Are you serious?
Run through that real quick. What did you buy?
Oh, God.
In the legal state of California.
I bought a lemonade with THC in it.
How strong was that?
I honestly, I'm going to tell you a story once I run down this list.
Okay.
So I bought the lemonade. I bought gummies. I bought an eighth of the best weed they had there, and they threw in 2 pre-rolls because I was a first-time customer, and the girl, the budsman, Bud's person,
Bud's lady threw
the
in Bud babe.
Bud, yeah, basically she was a babe.
Or scholar, or professor, or whatever. I don't know, maybe she's not a babe.
She threw in, no, she was definitely a babe. She threw in a free chocolate bar.
Nice.
Yeah, so
Did
I got
have
all
weed
that
in it?
stuff. What?
I was kidding. I was like, did that have weed in it? And she's like, here, you're gonna get hungry. Have some chocolate.
I didn't even hear you because I would have probably scolded you with scorn for your dumb dad jokes.
Oh my god, I got more. I got so many more.
You have too many. You have so many. It's gross. But so all of that. So I got all of that stuff for probably around $80.
Nice.
So then I proceeded to go home and be giddy as all get out. So I started by having the lemonade with a salad, like just a regular salad that I made at the house. Like I sat down, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have this lemonade with my salad." So I did that, and then it was like an hour of time went by, and nothing had really happened. So I was like, "All right, well,
damn,
man, yeah." I was like, "Oh, that's disappointing." So then I cracked open the gummy, so I popped the gummy in, just one, and another hour goes by, and I'm still kind of like, whatever. It's still whatever.
But you're also inside feeling a little sick, and you're not like,
yes.
I see where this is going.
Yeah. So another hour kind of goes by, and I'm like, all right, this is getting ridiculous. So I throw another gummy in.
Oh, Jesus.
Now, mind you, I'm smoking intermittently during this whole. So this is already like 3
and you're smoking
hours in, and I'm smoking weed.
So now you're like $45 in the hole.
At least. So there I am. Like, it is now 5 and some change hours later, and I realized that I was laying on the couch, like I was laying on the couch with like my arm propping my head up, and I just remember trying to give commands to the lower half of my body and realizing that wasn't gonna happen. and then
legs.
Exactly. I was like, all right, legs, I need you to move me 2 feet to that bed over there.
Torso.
And my legs were like, boop, boop, boop. The number you have dialed has been disconnected. Bruh.
What? I'm not on the phone.
I became a paraplegic. The lower half of my body was not responding to commands from my brain. And I couldn't get, like I said, I had my hand propping my head up, and I basically slept like that for a good rest of my evening because I couldn't get my legs to work.
Well, that's probably for the best, because that was probably going to help you get the rest you need to get over your sickness.
Woo! I could not get my legs to work, bro. So I was trying to get my legs to move, and then the very next thought in my brain was, I had too much weed today.
But that might be the only time that you've ever had that thought in your entire life.
Literally the only time. It is literally the only time. I may have had too much weed today.
I like that you're still on the fence. You're like, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, what had happened was, 1, I was sick. 2, I didn't know my limits. It was as a scientist, there is a lot of experimentation. I'm a body scientist. I'm a body physiological scientist. So for me, I lesson learned, and we can move forward. Going forward, there will be more temperance and reservedness when approaching edibles.
You can also ask, what is the? Because I know, on the gummies that we've gotten before, they're like 250 milligrams each.
Oh, that's all. I think these were only 10 each.
10 milligrams each?
Yeah,
that's nothing. That's way too low. So it must have been something else that kicked in or maybe it wasn't the weed at all. Maybe you were just sick and getting over something, and your legs just shut down.
Look, I have never been that sick in my entire life. I've never been sick to the point where I was like, all right, legs. That was a conversation I was having in my own brain with my legs, bro. Yeah. So no, that was me stoned out of my brain, and I OD'd on weed.
I would say 50 to 75 milligrams would be a good starting point for you. That's what I would guess. Off my experience.
So if you think about it, that makes a lot of sense, because I feel like and I don't remember any of this. I probably should have recorded some of this, but
I would love to see a recording if you want this.
I couldn't ask questions because I was so fanboyed out in the fucking dispensary.
You were trying to be all cool too, I bet.
I was definitely
good.
Look,
I know what the dosage is.
In my brain, I was spinning in a field of marijuana in slow motion, I was those
dawning of the age of Aquarius.
You know those movie sequences where 2 people run at each other towards each other in a field. It was like that, and all the weed in this dispensary just running. So that's going on in my brain.
Stuffed weed leaves that you're hugging.
Exactly. We're just we're spinning each other and laughing and fall back. But that was happening in my brain. But in reality, I was just like, I'll take plant material and that's literally all I could say was I just started pointing. That's exactly what I just started pointing at shit in the glass case. I was like, I'll have plant material and that right there and then that right there. Yeah, I lost all faculty of thought.
And then I'm sure one of the other workers goes up to the other worker who's servicing you and is like, "Hey, does he know that we're not closing for the next month?"
Well, there was only one girl. There was only one girl working the counter. So you walk into the dispensary, and it was my first time. So they had me enter some information on this iPad, and the security guy in the front part of this store, he takes my ID and starts registering and checking me in. I guess making sure I don't have any felonies or anything like that.
Well, they can deny you because you have felonies?
I have no idea. I don't know the protocol. All I know is that it's a store like any other store that you can walk in and buy weed and nobody gives a fuck.
People with felonies, they need weed more than anybody else.
Anybody.
Like, if you've been convicted of an assault, get this person some weed, you know?
Immediately. I bet you'll never get another assault charge again.
Exactly. They're not allowed to be on anything. Well, I don't know. Whatever.
Nah, I know that's the case.
I watched the Aaron Hernandez documentary, and
holy
you're
shit.
right. Yeah, and you're right. I think I actually watched it last week, and I meant to talk to you about it. We forgot. And I'm not going to talk about it in the next episode, but I'll just mention now that, like, because you had mentioned that, they're kind of blame weed on, like, you know.
Yeah, they blame weed for a lot of what, like, his behavioral problems were. And I was like,
yeah, I think they kind of did, but I think in the end it ended up just being that gigantic hole in his head. That
you think that? You think that gigantic hole in his head was the fucking problem that no one could see? That no one could see until he was dead? Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But no, seriously, if you've not seen the Aaron Hernandez documentary on Netflix, what is it? A Killer's Mind, right?
I think so.
Watch it. It's fun.
Yeah.
Really good. It's fun. It's
yeah, I was like, it's fun? I was like, that's the adjective you want to use here?
It's a light romp through the countryside on the back of a horse and buggy.
It's like an effervescent Chardonnay that was just vinted last year.
It's like a hayride through a pumpkin patch on Halloween Eve.
It's like pumpkin spice lattes in October.
Pumpkin spice lattes. All right, well, we got some news we should probably jump into.
Yeah, we did meander down the path a little bit. So yeah, let's jump into some news.
People like weed stories, though, I think.
Well, our audience base fucking definitely does.
Hot off the presses, Lucasfilm has just unveiled today their latest project called Project Luminous about the High Republic, and they put out a handy video guide. Did you watch this at all?
No, I haven't. It was actually like one of the things I checked off for like the news I was going to report this week. You just got to it quicker than you started right off the gate with that, but yeah, I was going to get to that later. No, I haven't checked it out. So please explain.
So basically, they put out a little video. And it's nothing new. There's no new footage, but what it is like shots of, like, you know, you see Coruscant from some of the prequel movies, and they talk about like the Jedi Order and how this is hundreds of years before the Skywalker saga and the Galactic Republic is at its height.
I mean, I'm looking at it now, and basically what they're doing is they're expanding the already huge Star Wars universe, but with 5 new books that have been announced. Mm-hmm. And it's a mix of comics, young adult and kid books, and a novel for adults, according to this.
Do you remember that? Do you remember Shadows of the Empire back in the 90s?
Shadows of the Empire. It sounds familiar.
They did a similar thing where they had comic books that would tie into a video game, and so it was just a way. And they're already doing this with Star Wars. They're already having comic books to prop up the movies. This is just more of like a multimedia way of telling one whole story, which they're calling Project Luminous. And I think it's supposed to end with an actual full movie, but they haven't really announced that yet.
Okay, so I've got a little more information on like what they're talking through here. It sounds like it's a series of books and comics exploring a different period from the one we're used to. So that's kind of huge. That's kind of what, you know, they're so this is the High Republic publishing campaign has been announced, and it will consist of several books set 200 years before the Phantom Menace.
Right.
So these are like prequels.
Yeah, and we talked about some previous episodes.
We talked. I think we have talked about like
during this time the Sith does not exist. So there's been 1,000 years of peace for the Jedi. But some new threat is starting to emerge. And so the question is, what is that new threat? And when you watch the video, they talk about it a little bit. They talk about how on the outskirts of the galaxy, the Jedi are sort of like Texas Walker Rangers. And it's like the Wild West. And then they did reveal some idea of what the villains are. They're called the Nile. And they're like space Vikings. And what they tried to do was imagine what is the type of thing that would scare the Jedi. And this is all in the video if you watch it, which is
I'm actually watching it as we speak, but I obviously can't do it with the sound on.
Yeah.
So
but, watch it.
I mean, this is interesting. I feel like I just want to jump in a little bit of a point here because you're a writer, yourself. So like, do you find like I feel like this is an exciting announcement because of the freedom that these writers are going to get to sort of create and establish a new. Because according to this article, they're saying that the purpose of picking this timeline or this time is that the writers can have a lot of creative freedom, and it doesn't overlap with any of the already established characters or canon. So, I mean, ostensibly, they could build out a whole new universe with new aliens that we haven't seen, new races that you know.
Yeah, it's kind of essential to the idea of how Marvel Studios built the MCU. You got these 5 writers: Justina Ireland, Daniel Jose Older, Claudia Gray, Kevin Scott, and Charles Soule. And they're all writing individual stories. And then the Lucasfilm story group is trying to interconnect and make sure that they're all that they're forming a cohesive narrative.
I've got a quote here from Kathleen Kennedy, LucasArts president, if you want to hear it.
No. Yeah, okay, sure.
Damn.
She's not going to be in that position for much longer. No, go ahead.
Yeah,
no,
I don't think so either. I honestly don't think so either, but she's promising that these works will cover a more hopeful... Just in the way that this quote is setting it up, I'm like, you're not going to have this job much longer. Kathleen Kennedy promises that these works will cover a more hopeful, optimistic time, but also that there will be a more traditional Star Wars conflict as well. But of course, it's into this glorious new era, something wicked this way comes. And that's what her quote ends it with.
I mean, sounds good to me. I'm definitely still burnt from the Rise of Skywalker, you know?
Well, you won't be seeing this new movie until 2022.
Yeah, but what I'm not burnt from is the new episode of Clone Wars that we'll talk about in the coming episode here of what we
That's
into.
A pretty decent little segue. Well done. You're getting better at these.
Well, that wasn't so much a segue as to like, this is what we're going to talk about in about 2 hours here. But
well, that's why I said it was pretty good. I didn't say it was great.
I know you don't want to give me too much praise here. One thing I am happy about is that Taika Waititi now isn't sure that he's directing the live-action Akira movie.
Okay.
So that makes me happy, because I don't think Taika Waititi is a good fit for Akira. I think he's an amazing director, but I don't know if I want to see Taika Waititi's take on Akira. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he could do a great Akira.
Why? What are your reservations? I mean, he's at this point he's a fucking Oscar-winning director. So what would be your reservations?
Well, he got an Oscar for script adaptation, but he didn't get it for directing.
Okay, fair.
And maybe that's exactly what it needs. Maybe it needs a good script adaptation. I don't know. I just don't. There's something about his style that doesn't seem to me at all like Akira. And I'd be willing to give anything a shot, but the idea of making a live action Akira just scares me in general. And then putting in a director who tonally their previous works are nothing like the tone of Akira, it's sketchy to me at best.
You know what? Yeah. Okay.
So Variety asked him a series of questions. They said, what's happening with the live-action remake of Akira? He says, the whole thing went on hold. We had to keep pushing the dates, and it encroached on the Thor dates. You know, his new Thor, what's it called? Love and Thunder? Is that what it's called?
I don't remember. I know we talked about it on the podcast before.
Yeah.
But I don't remember what it was,
I think it's Love and Thunder. Anyway, so Akira ended up shifting 2 years down the track. And then they ask him post-Thor, and he says, post-Thor. So I'm not sure if even in 2 years I don't know what I'm doing in fucking 2 days, he says. It might not happen, you mean, is what they ask him. He says, I think eventually it will happen. I'm just not sure if I'll be doing it.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
I respect the motherfucker just being like, look, it's probably going to get done, but I'm not going to be the motherfucking helming it. So.
Yeah, at least he's being honest. At least there's so much subterfuge around this stuff, and they don't want anybody to know what's happening and who's doing it and why. And at least he's just like, it doesn't sound like it's going to be me. Maybe, but probably not. I kind of hope it doesn't ever happen, to be quite honest.
Me either.
I'm not normally negative about that shit, but
I want to see a live action Akira, but I want it done right. I'm tired of like these live action reboots that end up not being anything like the original or worth the time to have made. I think there are exceptions for sure.
Right.
Battle Angel Alita, 300. There's been a bunch.
The new Sonic movie.
Yeah. Which this was actually what I was going to jump into, was that Sonic has been crushing it, except for China, because it's been delayed in China due to the coronavirus.
Aww. Coronavirus is kind of crazy. It's killed about 1,000 people. Not to make it seem like it's not a big deal, but
it's kind of not though.
It's not, and not that big of a deal. We're in 2014. Right? Just in the U.S. alone, over 50,000 people died from the flu. So it's important to keep it in perspective that this is 1,000 people that have died from the coronavirus, which is sad,
right.
And not to lowball it and make it not a big deal.
What that whole thing is about the coronavirus, and we don't have to get into it because neither one of us are virologists or any of that shit. But at the end of the day, I honestly think it's just a real good fear-mongering tactic, because every couple of years because it's really about it being a pandemic. That's what it is. The most frightening part of it is that this virus can reach all parts of the world.
Right.
But that's only because of the interconnectivity of everybody. That's why I really don't fuck with airports, bro, because that's how it's possible.
Yeah.
A motherfucker who doesn't know that they have it, they jump on a international flight, bingo bango, it's all over the place now.
It's 12 monkeys, man.
It's exactly 12 monkeys. And the thing is, it's very infectious. But if you know what you're looking for, chances are you'll be fine. The flu, but like you just said, the flu kills more motherfuckers every year.
It's actually kind of narcissistic to sit back and think, "Oh, I'm gonna get the coronavirus."
And this is what I'm saying. I think it's just a really strong fear mongering campaign to sort of mess with markets and fuck with. Yesterday was one of the worst days on the stock market in the last 2 years. Yeah, because of this coronavirus scare. People were like, So there was a huge sell-off yesterday. The Dow dropped 1,000 points. Why the fuck do I know that or even care?
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. I think this whole thing is just because the same shit happened a couple years ago with swine flu, bird flu,
right? SARS, MERS,
SARS. There was all every couple of cycles. They they scare up motherfuckers with some virus that could possibly go pandemic because a couple of motherfuckers get it and then jump on a plane and it 12 monkeys a little bit. And then it's in a news cycle for a few weeks. People get scared. They can fuck with markets a little bit, make a little bit more bread because motherfuckers. If you get motherfuckers scared, what do?
Yeah.
They buy shit.
They buy shit and they hunker down and they listen to people who are going to tell them, who will take advantage of the situation. Tell them, "Don't worry, I'll fix this. Vote for me. Put me into office."
Yeah, exactly. And it's just. I feel like if you were to track some of this shit, it almost always comes up in election years or close to election cycles or some shit like that. Almost always. And I'm not a conspiracy nut. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I can't say with any alacrity or a surety that that's the case. But I bet if you were to look into that shit, bro, I bet you it trends on times when the motherfuckers are needed to make political shifts or economic shifts and shit.
You know who else knows what they're doing? Tom Holland and Chris Pratt. During the Onward premiere, Tom Holland sort of suggested that he and Chris Pratt would like to host a Dungeons and Dragons game with the cast of the Avengers. Did you hear about this?
No, I didn't hear about this.
So Tom Holland and Chris Pratt, they show up for, they're doing kind of press for the Onward movie. That's the new Pixar movie that's coming out soon. They actually got decent early reviews, and
That's probably why McDonald's has all that licensing for their shit. The Happy Meal toys are all from that movie now.
Yeah. And so they sort of suggest that they are trying to pull together the Avengers, the cast of the actual Avengers at MCU, to all sit around and play Dungeons and Dragons together. And to what end, I don't know, to film it and show it. But it's an interesting idea, And Tom Holland, he spoke to IGN, and they asked him if he'd ever played Dungeons and Dragons. He said, I haven't, no. But Chris and I have been talking about setting up an Avengers D&D session.
Yeah, that motherfucker's too young to have played Dungeons and Dragons.
Probably, right? No, that's probably not true. I bet.
No, that's definitely true. That motherfucker, like, he wasn't. Dungeons and Dragons is our generation of motherfuckers doing that shit because I still know
it is.
a
But if you
lot
go
of
down the
motherfuckers
street,
who are in campaigns right now.
If you walk down this,
go ahead.
I would say if you walk down the street from my house, half a block away, and granted I live in a trendy neighborhood in Brooklyn. There's the Brooklyn Strategists, and they host.
And who is it run by, bro?
Oh, it's run by guys our age and girls our age.
Exactly my fucking point.
But what they do is you sign up your kid for a camp. They'll pick your kid up from school. They'll take him from school straight to this location, and they'll play D&D with him with another group of kids his own age.
With him, huh?
Or her own
Sexist.
age. We're talking 6, 7, 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds.
You know what that shit sound like to me? That sounds like some hipster ass babysitter shit is what that sounds like. That sounds like something only a certain swath of motherfuckers can afford.
It's not cheap. It's not super cheap, but
really
nothing in our neighborhood is cheap, and none of these camps for kids are cheap. It's not any more expensive than anything else. Like you're gonna put, if you had the option of putting your kid in a soccer camp, and maybe your kid like is not into athletics, and instead wants to use his imagination and create like a dark dwarf, dragonlancer, elf to fight whatever. You know what I mean? Like it could have been a really cool thing for you as a kid if your parents
it could have been, but all that to say, my point being that like Tom Holland's parents didn't like. He grew up in an era where he had screens and other shit to pop off on,
right? Not
use his he didn't grow up having to use his imagination like that.
He wasn't tech poor like we were growing up.
Exactly. Like he didn't have to create his own stories just to have the enjoyment, that kind of thing. And I mean, to be honest, I don't even think I would have gotten into Dungeons and Dragons if I hadn't been a theater person and dated a girl who was into that stuff.
Yeah, I never got into it, but had I dated a girl who was into it, I probably would have gotten into it as well.
And that's exactly how I got into it. Thank you, Kimmy Abuser.
Amongst some other things I might have gotten into.
Her dad was my first DM. Sam Buser was my first DM, and I will always love him. He gave me an appreciation for that shit in a way that I was like, oh my god, this is amazing.
So Holland,
so good.
So Holland follows up with, he says, which would be amazing, but what we actually want to do is film it because it would be really fun. Not live stream it because I don't do... Is this live? Oh my god, it is live. Okay, never mind. I'm really stressed now. It's his little joke. But yeah, so it sounds like they want to actually film it.
I think they should. I think every single one of those people in that cast would be great party members for a campaign. Who would be the DM?
I don't know. Well, that's the question we should have been asking from the beginning.
Yeah,
who's the DM of the Avengers Dungeons and Dragon crew?
I mean, is it Nick Fury? Do we get Samuel L. Jackson to come in?
Oh my god,
and build a campaign?
Yes, perfect.
With motherfucking sharks.
Yeah, perfect. His voice. They make it all cinematic with like lots of cuts, and you still have to use your imagination. You know what I mean? I don't want to see like CGI dragons and like any of that stuff. But to have Samuel L. Jackson working off of some sort of like script idea and improvising as he goes would be incredible.
And the way I'm thinking about seeing this is exactly like the way I'm thinking about it is like somebody in the room or multiple people in the room are filming this from multiple angles. Like maybe each like how like the World Series of Poker.
Has
like that card hole camera that like.
Yep.
I would like to see it like that.
Yeah.
Like World Series of Poker style, motherfuckers around the table and just playing D&D. I don't even care about like the cuts or any like effects.
No.
I just want to see these motherfuckers in a room who spent how many years together making these movies?
10 plus.
At least a decade, right?
Yeah. I want to see these guys improv and use their imagination.
Use their like sitting around a table. Like it would be like getting together with your friends and doing some really like high level nerd shit. And I think those people have such a camaraderie from this experience as you do with any kind of art that you create collaboratively with a bunch of motherfuckers. Yep. I think it'd be an amazing thing to just sit and watch.
Yeah, so it kind of started as this sort of pseudo joke to kind of promote the movie Onward at the premiere, but it's actually a really good idea.
It's a great idea. It's a fucking great idea.
I wonder what kind of rights. Do you have to pay for the rights to Dungeons and Dragons to do this kind of thing?
To play it? No. You just need a good DM, a DM manual, motherfuckers who want to play, and a character sheet, which you can make in a number of websites. You can make.
Yeah.
I know I want to jump into this little bit of news because it ties into what we were just talking about with the coronavirus. Okay. Because I don't know if you heard. Did you hear that Mission Impossible 7 production has been halted?
No, I heard the Switch was halted. I heard that the PlayStation is backed out of all different types of like things because of this scare. But now you're telling me that Mission Impossible 7.
I've heard that too about PlayStation. I don't believe that's the case. I think that they're cooking up something because I think they're cooking up something because they don't have an infrastructure that's ready to do cloud streaming, and I think they're low key trying to catch up with. I want to talk a little bit more about this because I was reading an article that has me thinking that PlayStation 5 might be the last system that either of us buy.
Why? Because we'll die.
Well,
from the coronavirus that we weren't taking seriously.
Well, if it ain't the coronavirus, it'll be global warming and the environmental
way too much weed one night. Way too much lemonade weed.
Well, no, see the thing about it is weed is never. You can't OD on marijuana.
I know.
No one has ever
that we know of yet.
I've tried. It's impossible. You can't do it. There's no way. But yeah, the seventh installment of the Mission Impossible series, which they were in production in Italy, but because of this outbreak, there's been like so many of the towns in Italy have been like locked down, and they canceled like sporting events. It's kind of a real shit show over there right now. So apparently, so is Mission Impossible, which is now. It's supposed to have come out next year, July, like summertime July.
Yeah,
but I don't know if it'll make it.
Now I heard they were filming Mission Impossible 7 and 8 at the same time.
Oh, you serious?
Yeah, that's what I heard. Wow. But I don't really want to look that up. But that's how sure they were that they got. I think they got the production budget to do both because they knew that they both were going to make money. But I could be wrong about that.
Hey, and what was the numbers you said on the flu numbers of people who died from it?
I think it was like a really bad year for the flu. Was something like 2012 or 14. Anyways, at its height in the last like 10 years, in 1 year alone, over 50,000 people in the U.S. alone died just from the flu.
Okay, so like worldwide, I'm looking at some of these numbers. There's only been 79,000 people infected.
Yeah.
Infected. That's just so like it's more than the people who have died the infection, but like it's only killed like 2,500 people around the world.
Yeah.
So like nothing.
Well, PS5 also has more. I have PS5 news because if it's not the coronavirus is keeping them out of these sort of like showcases of what the PS5 could be. I can't remember the names of what all these like video game show places are. It could be because of the price. They're struggling to get the cost of manufacturing below $450 per unit.
Yeah, I was reading this article that was saying like the cost of this will probably be the most expensive one to hit with its retail price. And it was something like I think it was like $450.
Yeah. Maybe
even $5 when you like add a controller and like a bundle package or something like a $500 like.
Well,
and go ahead.
Well, with the PS3 way back in the day, like let's go back like 10, almost 15 years ago, they were having a huge problem keeping it under $500 as well. And so even at that, they ended up taking a loss on every PlayStation 3 that they sold because like a $300 loss. So when you went to the store to buy your PS3 and let's say the year 2002 or whatever it was,
I don't remember what I paid for that motherfucker.
Right?
Because I think
did you buy it new?
I didn't. No, I bought it new, but I didn't buy it right away. I think I waited till there was a price drop or I caught it on like one of the sales, like a Black Friday maybe.
Right.
I didn't get it right away. I waited till the price came down because I don't. Yeah, I remember it being something pretty absorbent, and I was like, no, you never buy the hardware in the first 6 months.
No, it's never a good idea anyways. Only people with like a ton of money to blow.
Right.
It's just there's no games for it yet anyways. So
right.
What's the point?
Exactly.
You might as well wait the entire year. So if it comes out on Christmas, wait till the next Christmas to get it.
Yeah.
Then there's like 2 or 3 or 4 games that are really good. You know, and by then the prices come down usually about $100 or more.
Yeah, exactly.
But get this,
then,
the PS3 costs them, Sony, it cost them $805.85 just to make. And then they were selling it for $500. So they were taking a loss of $300 per PlayStation 3 just to get it out there into the market in that first year until they got their prices under control. And that was the thing that led them, because they did that actually led them to have a toe in and to be able to keep up with Xbox at the time.
Right. And I think because they were willing to sort of like do that, the PlayStation 4 was such a hit. I mean, it's one of the best-selling systems of all time.
Yeah, and so the idea is like you can sell a car for cheaper than what it costs you to actually make it to somebody, but then you're going to sell them all the parts, the tires, the engines, the checkups, all of that stuff, and that's going to actually help you make your money back on that car that you initially sold. Right? So, I don't know. How much money would you play? What's the top amount of money that you would pay?
I'm not buying any hardware for $450.
Okay.
Or there's no, that is not a price point I'm willing to pay for hardware. I won't do it. Because you want to know how much I paid for my PlayStation 4? The one that sounds like an aircraft carrier now? And it's $97.
Well, it still works, so I guess it's worth it.
It was a brand new bundle. I paid $97 for a bundled PS4.
With what? When did you buy this? Why did you get $97 on it? That's pretty crazy.
It's pretty crazy, and I'm gonna tell you why it was crazy. Because I traded in my PS3, which was I traded in my PS3 on a week that they were having a special for those PS3. They were giving you a $100 rebate for your PlayStation 3 trade-in if it was a certain type. I was a GameStop member, and I had accrued. I had accrued a bunch of different. I had accrued enough GameStop
your bus
points.
is here.
Well, that's probably. Oh yeah, that is.
Did you open a window?
Yeah, right out front.
No. Why do you get so much noise here?
I don't.
That's with the window closed.
There's a bus out front. Yeah, I don't have any door or window open. That's a bus that runs out front of my house.
Is the apartment that they put you up a bus stop?
No, but there's an alley. There's a giant alley that you just be lucky it's not a goddamn garbage truck at 6 in the morning.
I think I heard that earlier before we started recording.
Fucking garbage truck. Like I live on a thoroughfare. Like my house is like not even 5-10 yards from the street.
Yeah.
It's like your place, but if the road was really close to where you put your head. Like, really close. Like, if a car skipped the curb and came through the wall, I'd be dead.
Cool. Sure. Living on the edge. As you do.
You can't help yourself from falling, bro.
Right.
Wow.
You want He-Man news?
Huh?
Or Planet of the Apes news?
Dealer's
Your
choice.
pick. Dealer's choice. Let's go He-Man because I have the page open already. So pretty much every voice actor that you've ever liked is going to be in the new Netflix Masters of the Universe anime. We meant to talk about this a week ago, and then we missed it.
Well, we literally did the podcast, and then I sent you the article.
Yep.
Like after we recorded, I was like, "There you go."
There you go.
And
Boom.
it was basically Mark Hamill. I think Mark Hamill was the first news about this. He's the voice of Skeletor.
Skeletor, perfect.
Obviously, but like I feel like it's gonna be that kind of voice we always hear from him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know exactly the voice is going to be. And then Lena Headey, Cersei from Game of Thrones, is voicing Evil Lynn.
Sarah Connor from Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Oh yeah, exactly. Depending on where you know her from. Henry Rollins is playing Triclops. Kevin Conroy is voicing Merman.
No shit. They got the star-studded for this. I wonder how many episodes they're gonna go.
I don't know. On the good guy side, Chris Wood is playing Prince Adam and He-Man alongside Sarah Michelle Gellar as Teela and Liam Cunningham as Man of Arms.
Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah, pretty good. It's officially called Masters of the Universe Revelation.
Okay. Well, that's perfect because that leads me to my Transformers news. Did you see the trailer for the new Transformers that Netflix is doing?
I did, and I was having a weird crisis with it.
Well, really? Speak on it. Speak on your weird crisis.
I think I either watched it yesterday or the day before, and I was just in a bad mood, and I was not feeling good, and it was like one of those days where like all the things that you should enjoy in life are just not bringing you any joy.
Wow. God. Yeah. Wow, bro.
Yeah.
Maybe you should OD on weed occasionally.
If there was any day to OD on weed, that was it.
All right, well...
it's like one of those days where you're like, I'm just going to go home and I'm just going to go to bed because this sucks and I'm done. And I watched the trailer, but except it wasn't nighttime. It was like midday, so you can't just go to bed at like 11 o'clock. You have responsibilities. You got a job. You got kids. And I watched the Transformers trailer, and I just felt nothing. And I was like, do I not enjoy cartoons?
Wow.
This stuff anymore? Is that what's happening to me?
You were like, I'm just done with this shit. Wow.
I don't know. I just couldn't find myself. And same with He-Man. I'm like, am I excited about this, or am I just excited by the idea of this?
Well, it was interesting because I posted that there was a bit of news about how Tiger, those handheld Tiger games are coming back. Know. I posted about that, and I was like, but why? I mean, why go back to this era of like really kind of like poor gaming? And I think you responded in kind. You were like,
yeah,
we're talking
about those. Remember those games as a kid? If this is not you, Rob, I know you do because you posted the thing. Those games as a kid you could hold in your hand. They were like almost like fake Game Boys, and they were in black and white.
Yeah, and they were like disposable Game Boy games.
Yes, but way worse. And then the actual graphic art on the front looked really good, so it got you hyped to play it. Because and you didn't know any better.
There were some really strong titles. There was Gauntlet, there was Altered Beast, they were like
Double Dragon.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how they got like the rights to sort of like.
And they were all terrible. There was never a good one.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I liked some of the sport ones, like the Jordan versus Bird. That was one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah, I remember those. Maybe those were okay.
I mean, because they made them run the gamut. They were games that were like on systems and in arcades, but you could play them cheaply in this like 2D mode. Because if you ever took one of these things apart, like the screen, you could look on the screen and see like the animation, like the way that the characters would move was already sounded like burned in. So it was just like whatever electrode was powering it allowed this animation to look like it was running or like look like it was chopping or
like it was all there on the screen. It just needed to be highlighted. But
I mean, we are not describing this well, but for somebody who grew up without systems and grew up with parents who didn't believe in systems, these things were my fucking lifelines.
Were they really? Like you really played them? All I could think of, even as a kid, was how disappointing they were.
Yeah, because that's that privilege, though. You had systems in the house. For somebody who was out there being like, for somebody who was out there making their choices in friendships based on whether or not a motherfucker had a system in the house. Yeah, no, bro, these things were gold.
Yeah, dude,
they were gold.
What game system you got in your house? None? Never mind. I'm moving on. All
right. I'm going to go over here now. But it was nice talking to you.
Yeah.
Do you be my... No, I won't. No. Sorry. Yeah. Because I wasn't a good guy, is what I'm saying back then.
Or you just knew that it wasn't going to work out and you didn't waste anybody's time.
You know what? I like to think... See, I like the way you think. That's why we're friends. Man.
That's right.
That's why you're friends.
So the new Transformers thing, what is it again? It's a war... It's the... war on... not Cybertron.
I feel like I don't even want to say... It is the war on Cybertron. It is a War for Cybertron trilogy. So there's going to be 3 parts of this thing, and the first one is called Siege. And I don't even know if I want to talk about it because you don't even. It sounds like you don't give a fuck.
I don't know. I feel like I've gotten hyped about this stuff before, and then end up just like putting on 10 minutes of it and being like, nah.
Yeah. See, like that's you though, because I've been trying. Did you ever finish Castlevania?
Well, I have news about Castlevania as well. But...
Well, of course you have, because it's the fucking new season's dropping like next week or 2 weeks from now.
Yes.
So you haven't finished it, haven't you?
Yeah, there's voice actors: Barbara Steele, Jessica Brown, Finley, Jason Isaacs, Riley Fukushima.
I know the cast, but you still didn't answer the question. Have you or have you not finished watching the first season? No.
I'd like to delay the answer of the question to the end of the episode.
You don't. Yeah. See, I know you, because I was telling you the shit was hot, and I think you were trying to watch it with Laurel. And
no,
we shot
ourselves in the foot. We put it on one night late when we'd been drinking with Laurel, and you and I were kind of watching it, and she was kind of pooping on it and not into it. And then we kind of fell asleep, or maybe I fell asleep, and then I've never been able to go back to it because I never went back to it.
Yeah. Okay. So why don't you then jump in at this point and tell us your news about Castlevania? Someone who hasn't actually finished watching it.
Oh, that was it. It's just that the third season is coming up, and the voice actors. I got Bill Nighy is going to join the voice cast. Okay. I was just really doing it for you, man, because I know that you appreciate it.
Appreciate it. It's dope as fuck. It's one of the dopest animes that came out last year. Yeah. And based on its content, I thought that this would have been a perfect one for you to sort of like wrap your nerd brain around and enjoy. But clearly, I was mistaken. Clearly, I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
No, maybe I'll go back to it. It's just, there's so many different things that are out there. And that's sort of why we end up actually doing this podcast, at least for me, is because I was like found myself watching all of this stuff and then having nobody to talk to about it, And I knew that you liked a lot of this stuff, so we should at least get together and record it and talk about it.
Well, the idea for doing it was sound, and I'm glad that we actually got it off the ground and started doing it because it's great. But I'm excited about Transformers: War for Cybertron.
Yeah,
like I saw the trailer and I'm excited, but like I don't think you are excited like about any of this stuff anymore. I mean, it's all sort of lukewarm to you. It feels like you're like, meh.
It's funny because
unless it's Star Wars or Marvel, I don't feel like you give a fuck. You're just like whatever.
No, it's really funny because I actually, and I mean this genuinely, that's the same thing that I think that that's my same thought that I have about you, is that you're not into it anymore.
What?
I think that we've just been talking about a lot of these things each week by week, getting tiny little pieces of news about it. And it's just like, oh yeah, Taika Waititi, he's not doing the Akira movie. Who gives a shit?
Isn't that what I like? Whenever you ask me about some of this stuff, most of the time my answer to you is, oh, I'm cautiously optimistic, or I'm hopeful, but there's not enough info right now for me to jerk off on the mic right now. You know what I'm saying?
I do have some genuine news I am excited about.
Okay, well then let's not talk about Transformers then. Like,
right.
Because I'm excited about it, but I don't want to talk about it if you don't give a fuck. So let's talk about what you're excited about. Tell me what you're on right now. Come on.
So the Planet of the Apes movies, the 3 of those movies that came out recently, there was Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
You know what's funny? I was just having this conversation with Peter Story.
Oh yeah, do you remember the name of the movies? Because I don't.
I don't. I remember the name of the last one. I know I remember the name of the last one was called War.
Yes, War, and then
because I don't remember the name of the
Planet of the Apes. Whatever. Anyways, they're great. They're really good movies. I've seen the first 2,
I said this
especially
too.
The second one, quite a few times.
Okay, and this is why we were talking about it, because me and Peter's Story, we were shout out to that man Peter's Story. We were talking about how in our lifetime that it's almost as a rule, the sequel to whatever nerd shit that we really enjoy is usually better than like in a trilogy. The sequel is usually the best installment of that thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so as we were talking about it, we got to these new Planet of the Apes movies, and one of the things that came up was that I said I really enjoyed that third movie. The third movie for me, I really
with Woody
liked.
Harrelson.
With Woody Harrelson, and Peter looked at me. He's like, "What?" He said, "I hated that one. It was so bad. It was terrible. It was titled Planet of the Apes War, but there was no war on it. It was basically the Great Escape with monkeys." And I was like,
"True.
You're not." I was like, "All of that is fact. You were 100% right." But here's why that third movie for me was so good, or like not so good, but it bookended this trilogy in a way that I appreciated and I loved. Was that at the end of that third film, War, the virus that the monkeys had, the virus that gave the monkeys the ability to get all smart or whatever, had evolved and changed and had now jumped to humans and was de-evolving humans, right?
Oh, I didn't remember that. I've only seen it the one time. I saw it with my kids.
That's the end of that
Florida.
movie. That's the end of that movie.
Okay.
And this is why I was like, I appreciate it, because what it did, it kind of circled back around to the original movies, because when Charlton Heston crashes in the original, and he shows up and he meets this this gorgeous human a woman who has no linguistics, can't speak. We're like, what the fuck happened? And then you find out that humanity has de-evolved, and we're like, how did they get here? And what the movies did for me is it gave you this sort of like overview of how we got to that first moment when Charlton Heston shows up.
Right. Okay. I see what you're saying.
And,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it told a brand new version of the original story, the Planet of the Apes. But then it also circled back to how we got to the originals in a way that I was like, oh, that's smart writing. Well done on them. Because he was 100% right. It's called war, but it really isn't a war.
Correct.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
The second movie, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, has more of a war.
Yes. And that one should have been more aptly titled War.
Yeah.
But I like the originals. I liked all of those.
So they were a Fox property. Basically, 20th Century Fox owned the Planet of the Apes IP. And then when Disney bought them, nobody knew what was going to happen. And there were rumors that Disney was going to completely redo the whole franchise. But as of recent, they've announced that they are going to continue the Caesar legacy. Caesar's like that main ape character
he dies.
He dies, yeah, but they're going to continue his legacy. Well, that's the other thing that makes these movies great, is they kill main characters in these three movies. You know? Mm-hmm. They kill multiple of apes. I think they killed Caesar's son in one of them, right? I'm a little hazy because I wasn't prepared to come in and talk about these movies. I was just psyched that they were going to continue this story.
You weren't prepared to come in and talk some nerd shit? See, that's the difference between you and me, Lawrence.
Yeah.
I'm always ready to come in and talk some nerd shit. I'm always prepared,
right.
Claire.
Well, that's why I got you on this podcast, because I knew my limitations. I knew that you would fill in those limitations.
You know what? You're right. I am the wind beneath your wings. It's fine.
Wind beneath my wings,
fine.
But I'm the one who built the wings.
Yeah, but we've fallen off a bridge together, so I mean...
Right, but you pushed me.
Mutual destruction. Mutual destruction or mutual survival. Like
you pushed me and I grabbed onto you, and now we're both falling.
Flying. Then we better build these wings then, is what I'm saying. Flat. I'll take the right, you get left.
Yeah. So that Planet of the Apes movies, maybe Disney won't screw it up, and we'll get a fourth Planet of the Apes movie that will continue that sort of Caesar story, that legacy. And maybe
Disney won't screw it up. That's interesting. Did I already talk about Mulan?
No. What do you got on Mulan?
Well, speaking of live action reboots, now that's how you segue, motherfucker.
Yeah. Except you don't go early. Hey, did I talk about Mulan? You just jump into it.
That's perfect.
Don't worry, I'll cut all that out, so it'll make it look really smooth and cool.
You won't cut it. You never fix it in post. I always ask for you to fix it in post, and you never do.
It depends how much other life shit I got going on.
Oh shit. So anyway, the new Mulan movie from Disney is going to be the first in the company's live action reboots to have a PG-13 rating.
Oh wow.
Did you know that? Yeah. Did you know that?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So all of Disney's previous live action remakes, including Aladdin, The Lion King, Dumbo, and I guess there's a few others, they've all been either PG or G rated.
Right.
I guess this is gonna be the first PG-13 PG-13 rating for a Disney film since Pirates.
Yeah, it's interesting that they're no longer afraid to take that risk.
Well, I mean, they own all the best shit. Like there's no reason to like be so scared of it now. Like you own all of the best shit. People are gonna buy it regardless of this. Well, we're a family company. No, you're really not. You're the worst. You're the Empire. But motherfuckers are still gonna get down. You are the Matrix. Like I equate Disney to that scene in the Matrix where that first one where Joey Pants is having dinner with Agent Smith and he's holding up like the beef Wellington. He's like, I know that when I put this in my mouth, the Matrix is gonna tell me that it's delicious and it's juicy and blah blah blah. And I know it's not real. And then he takes that bite and he's like, oh yeah, but ignorance is bliss. I think that's basically the world when it comes to Disney and the fuckery that they get down on. They're like, yeah, but they make all the bad shit.
I'm lost in the metaphor though. So Disney is Joey Pants and are we the beef Wellington? And by the way, it's not beef Wellington, it's a filet mignon, it's a fucking steak. I'm the nerd. I got the facts here. But are we the steak and Disney's eating us? Or are we are we Joey Pants and Disney's the steak? I'm so confused.
Well, oh my god. All right.
Never mind, move on. Are you excited to see Mulan?
I'd say I'm more excited now that no, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not that excited about it.
It looks cool though. The trailer looks really good. It doesn't look like the same sort of carbon copy thing that they did with Aladdin and Lion King. It looks like a whole new movie.
The trailer looks good. I am cautiously hopeful, cautiously optimistic, but like with the track record that Disney has for fuckery, I don't know. Cautiously optimistic.
You know what's coming up next for them is cautiously optimistic. I am not cautiously optimistic for The Little Mermaid nor Snow White, which are both currently in development coming from them.
Are you serious? They're making live action versions of those movies now?
Yep. Well, I got one last bit of news to talk on before we move on.
You know what just happened?
I sent you that picture of what?
You know what just happened? I feel like you just pushed on me what I was feeling about, like the way that you're like you came home and the things that would normally have brought you joy don't. I think that's what you just pushed that right on me, right?
I'm so sorry.
Those two breathless sighs where I had no words. Go ahead. Yeah, just finish.
You know what's more transmittable than the coronavirus? It's depression. I'm sorry that I threw it at you, man.
Yeah, I mean, whatever, man. Whatever. Just what's the last bit of news you got? I don't know.
The Batman suit leak. I sent you the picture of it, so I know you saw it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, and like honestly, I think it's more to the case. I've been saying I don't care about this Pattinson Batman for a while now. So I mean, yeah.
Based off that suit, really?
No, not. But like, no, not based off just the suit. But like, I've been like we've talked about this on the podcast. I'm really not that excited about Pattinson as Batman.
Yeah.
Or even this sort of... I've said it on the podcast before. I'm not really that excited about him as Batman. I'm not really excited about them rehashing another year one telling of Batman. We've seen it. We know that story. I don't want to... I don't need another origin story of Batman. I just need you to start telling better Batman stories. We know how we got to be Batman. We get that.
We don't really know that this is an origin story yet.
Oh,
but it certainly feels like it when you look at that picture because it looks like a suit.
When you look at the picture,
that somebody has been.
Well, go ahead.
I would say it just looks like a suit that somebody's still in the process of refining. You know, it doesn't look like a suit that's finished. Looks like It looks like this could be an early part of the movie where he gets his ass kicked and he's like, "Shit, I need a better suit." And then there's a montage and he builds a better suit. You know?
Did you see the set video of him on the motorcycle and like what the motorcycle looks like, the bat cycle basically? Did you see any of that?
Yes.
Well, it looks like him and Catwoman, they're driving down the thing and then he lays the bike down.
Yeah. poorly.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's not the shot they're going to use.
Yeah, it's not the shot they're going to use, but it's...
Because it looked like Batman was just riding along on a motorcycle and was like, I'll just lay this down here.
He's like,
gently.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
I think it looks...
I'm almost positive this is going to be a year one rehash. Like, I'm just not excited about it. And then, like, did you hear about the controversy of the... did you remember, like, the initial photos of him was in that red light?
Yes.
And did you hear the controversy of, like, Marvel fanboys came in and started shitting all over it because of its similarities to looking like the Daredevil cowl?
Yeah, I heard that. You know, because he has the small little horns and the helmet.
The placement of the horns on the helmet, people are like, oh, wow, looks like Daredevil. It's some really, like, hipster fanboy bullshit that really has no brain, but it just goes to show you, like, the nitpicky nature. There's really nothing that's exciting about this. So people are like, you know, creating stuff to be, you know, excited about. Like, I don't care. I honestly do not care about the Pattinson Batman. And it'll probably be the first time on this podcast where I can actively say I don't care about this thing. I'm not that excited about it.
The most recent image or leak that's happened is there's a picture of a body and it looks like there's like...
Can you hear that?
What was that?
Can you hear that?
Yeah. What is it?
That is a horse-drawn carriage being pulled outside of my fucking place right now, though. A covered goddamn wagon.
We did it,
Rob.
Finally, this podcast has achieved what we set out to do, which is at some point be interrupted by a horse-drawn carriage.
Horse-drawn? Dude, there is literally I live like a couple blocks from Fort Sutter.
You told me
and
that.
I think it's not a good look. But I don't know. I don't know. I think it's not a good look.
A horse-drawn carriage?
Well, no.
The year 2020?
Well, no. Those are fine. I think just the fort itself. I think the history of the fort, and I didn't look it up. I did look it up, but it was kind of like tertiarily while I was like watching. I was viewing other screens while I was looking it up, so I didn't retain what I was looking up. But I think it has a really kind of sordid history. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, but go ahead.
That's okay. I actually have a question for you, and you would be the one who knows.
Okay.
Because you know about the Batman Who Laughs, that comic book series, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So a new image, a most recent image, and maybe they're leaking these on purpose, like the bat suit, or maybe not. But there's a picture, and it features a man wearing a shirt and a tie and what looks to be a vest with his head wrapped in what appears to be a plastic bag with what might be a spike stuck between his eyes, and then scrawled in blood over the face is "No More Lies."
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, okay.
So does that have anything to do with the Batman Who Laughs?
I mean, based on that description of it, it doesn't ping. It's not pinging any recognizers of that comic for me. No.
Okay. Here we go. So it says that. This is why you don't know, because just released 2 days ago was a Batman Superman #6 comic entitled "No More Lies," and it has the connection to the Batman Who Laughs.
Okay. Oh, okay. So I got to do some reading then.
Yeah. Okay.
And honestly, I feel like this is a point I should apologize to our fan base. I have not been doing my due diligence when it comes to bringing you the most updated comic book relevant material, and I am sorry. And all I can promise that in 2020, I will be better. I will do better.
Me too.
Promise.
You. Me too.
You're a liar, Lawrence. Lawrence, you're a liar.
To the best of my ability.
Wait, did you just jump off a ledge? Lawrence? Lawrence! No! We were supposed to build our wings together.
Where was my wind?
Oh, there you are. Oh, there it is.
It wasn't that high of a ledge.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're not that big of a guy, so I mean, like I feel like most tiny ledges would kill you.
That's true.
Is that fair? Is that fair to say?
Curbs are dangerous as well.
I mean, I feel like I lift you onto and off of so many of them that it just becomes second nature to me.
Yeah, you're pretty much like Val Kilmer, and I'm Warwick Davis and Willow. You're like, here you go, buddy. Here we go. Look you up onto the horse. Put me on a sled. Take me down hills.
Because I'm the greatest swordsman in the world, man.
That's right.
And then you knew that. You knew that going in.
I am the greatest magician in the world. As long as I have that wand.
Like Warwick, you are.
I constantly say to myself, courage, Larry. Faith, Larry.
Oh, my God. That's good. That's good. All right. Well, you got anything else, my dude?
No, that's it. I'm your host, Lawrence Dial.
And I'm your boy, Rob Karma.
This is What We Into. You can find us on Facebook. You can send us an email at whatweinto@gmail.com. We're on Twitter at Lawrence_Dial. What else? Patreon.com/whatweinto if you want to throw us $1 and help support the show. It makes a huge, huge difference.
Just throw us $1. You look. Like, you could take that $1 that you were going to use to get you some shitty coffee, and you could throw it to us and help us keep talking this bullshit every week to each other.
You could throw us $1 and literally put us to work, and be like, I don't want to find out this information. Please find it out for us. Here's $1.
Yeah,
and we will do way more than $1 worth.
Like I've already committed to doing better, guys, and I'm going to bring Lawrence along with me because he's a Jansport to me. He's a bad.
You're also lifting me up onto everything, so of course you're going to bring me with you.
So yeah, I have to.
I'm on your shoulders.
It's like Master Blaster kind of thing, except that apparently I'm Blaster. So that's us. That's us.
That is so racist. That's the racist thing we've said on this podcast.
What? All right, well, if you feel a ways about any of what just transpired there, send us $1 or an email, and we'll do the best of our ability to suss that out.
It won't be right. I want to just be clear. We don't guarantee.
We don't guarantee correctness. We don't guarantee correctness or accuracy on this show, but yeah.
All right.
Have
a good one.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Later.
Oh, God, I hate you so much. I hate you so much.
You love it.
Later, haters. I mean, unless you're gonna make up T-shirts with that slogan, you gotta stop saying it.
I actually have a T-shirt with that slogan. Seriously, it's a guy on rollerblades. And he's saying "Later, haters," and he's got his shirt off. Dope.
Why?